Hello, my name is Ryan. I'm from the technical team here at Trackit247, and what I want to do is run a demo of our asset platform, which is one of three platforms that we have all in all. But today I'm just going to focus on the asset platform, which is predominantly for any type of vehicle, such as a car, van, motorcycle, or HGV, or any type of truck as well. Our platform is used for traffic lights as well as leaflet distribution as well, but I'm not going to cover that on this video. So I just want to start off with, as you can see on the screen at the minute, I'm currently on the homepage of our website. And from here, this is where we can reach the login page of the asset platform. So when you get to our website, you go customer login at the top. And then there is as you can see, all three panels are displayed, and we want the asset panel for this example here. So when I click on this, you can see it's going to ask you for your username and password to get logged in, right? And if you're a new customer and you've purchased your trackers for the first time, your login details should be given to you by the time you receive your tracker through the post. But if you haven't, then you can contact us. And at the end of this video, I will put all the contact details for our support team up on the screen as well, so you can see that. So I'm already logged into the system using our demo account here. As you'll see, this is just Google Maps with our user interface laid over the top of it, okay? So using Google Maps, obviously it's very familiar to most people. Having used Google Maps with our software overlaid onto it, it's not much to learn at all. So what I want to do, the first thing I want to cover is the interface that we see on the left-hand side, and this is displayed all the time, regardless of where we go in the system. We'll always have this panel here shown on the left, okay? So I'm going to use my own tracker as an example for this demo. And we can see that straight away, we can see this status of the tracker is displayed here, which is sleeping at the moment. And the reason that we're getting this status at the minute here is because the vehicle is not moving. As soon as the vehicle starts to move, you'd see that this banner would go green, and you'd get a status of moving or active displayed on the screen. The GPS unit in the device is also switched off at the moment because the tracker is not moving. This GPS module will wake up and become active as soon as the vehicle starts to move. So it's worth mentioning that all trackers, if I just go back to our website quickly and I pull up one tracker as an example, let's say the 920, this platform only really uses two wires predominantly for wired trackers. It's just the black and the red cable here, which is going to be used for the installation most of the time. So this just black and red just simply gives the gives the tracker power, and that can be 12 or 24 volts on this model, for example. The tracker detects movement. It doesn't need ignition to wake up or start tracking, okay? So below these statuses here on the left, you can see the tracker is always reading the voltage of the battery on the vehicle that it's attached to. So in this case, we've got a reading of 12.75 volts. Now for a 12 volt battery, anything below 10 would be considered low or problematic. Anything above sort of 13 volts, and you can tell that the alternator is charging the battery on the car. So a speed indication here on the left. So at the minute it's 0. You can see the address that the vehicle is currently parked at, and the coordinates of the last location known for the tracker is displayed here as well. And you can punch these coordinates into Google. Now further down, this is the probably most important part of the display here on the left, which is the last valid GPS fix. Now this date and time that I've got here is as of 9 o'clock this morning, right? So this is what actually puts the marker on the map, yeah? So with the position that we're currently seeing on screen, the position that we're seeing here now on Boundary Way is as of 9:05 this morning. And this is the date and time that you've got, that the tracker last got GPS satellite signal. The field below it is last comms time, which is essentially the last date and time that it got communication from the mobile network. So GPS signal and mobile network are two very different things. One is putting the location on the map, and the other one is what's uploading the information that it's got on board the tracker using the SIM card. So both of these are the same date and time, so they're both currently in sync, and they've worked today. If you've got a date and time displaying on a tracker that is several days old, the GPS date might not be up to date, because the GPS will only update when the vehicle moves. The comms time will update every 4 hours, even if the vehicle doesn't move. So this last comms time field down here should really show today's date whenever you check in to have a look at your tracker. If you find that the last comms time is a day or several days in the past, then that indicates that there's an issue here. So if you ever log into your tracker and you're looking at a position on the map that is not quite up to date, or your vehicle to be in one place, but the map is showing a different place, then always check out these two dates here. Because if the tracker is not up to date, the voltage being displayed up here might give you a clue as to why the tracker hasn't checked in recently. Another thing I want to just jump into before we go too in depth with the tracker's details is you have this account link here down the bottom right hand side of the screen, and if I click on this is where I can show you change my password. The password that you're probably given at the very beginning when your account is created is probably not very secure, so you probably want to change your password the first time you log in if you're a new customer. And that's how to do it. Okay, so the next thing I want to come on to then is we've covered the banner here on the left hand side. We've got our tracker here in the middle of the screen, and I want to just go along the buttons at the very top of the screen now, just to give you an idea of what they're all for and what they do. So if I click this View All button here, this will zoom the map out as far as it needs to in order to capture every single tracker in the account. Now, as you can see, I've got a whole list of trackers here on the left-hand side. And you can have as many trackers in your account as you like. You can, having 50 trackers all in one account is no problem at all. And you can access this from the app on your phone as well. And now for the asset platform, the app is called Trackit247 Live GPS Tracking. And you can find that in both the App Store for Androids and iPhones as well. So if I click on View all this button does is just make the map zoom out or in to bring all of your trackers into focus. Now in this account, all the trackers that I have in this account are in the south or in the Midlands of England. So that's why we've got this in view. If we had any trackers abroad or further north, then this would zoom much further out. Just moving along then, the next button is Zones, which is a particular function of the asset platform that I want to demonstrate here. So zones are used to put a ring fence around a particular area that you want to safeguard your tracker in. So let's say, for example, we're just using my vehicle here now. If I click on zones, it will display any zones that I've already got created in the account, but I'm going to create a new one now. So if I hit create new, it just slaps a circle onto the map straight away. Yeah. Now this, I can shrink it a little bit if I need to, or I can adjust the position, and I can also enlarge the circle as well. Now, a circle can be used just for ease, right? But if you want a more complicated perimeter or shape, then we can select polygon, and we can now literally stretch this zone out to cover at street level a particular given area. You might want to ring fence a yard, for example, or a property. So we can just stretch this out until we've got the area covered. Now, what we can do here, if I select the tracker that I'm using in my demo here today, and I give this tracker a name, and I'm just going to call it office, for example, and I want to know when this vehicle leaves or enters the zone. So I'm going to leave both of these ticked. If I'm only interested in having the alert for when the vehicle leaves the zone, then I can just untick entering and click save. And that's it. That's how to create and save a new zone on the asset platform. So this is one of 3 alerts that I'm going to show you today. So I'm going to, later on when I come to the settings page, I'll show you the other 2 alerts which we can set up as well. But yeah, that's a zone. So you can have as many zones in the account as you like. You can have certain zones for certain vehicles. And you can always come back in here and click the edit button if you want to make an adjustment on a zone. Yeah. So I'm just going to cancel this now and turn the zones feature off here at the top. The next button along the screen is Show DMC. Now all this button does is to show you a list view of all your trackers rather than clicking through them one by one. And you can see a status for each tracker. So you can see the name of the tracker, the address that it's currently situated at, the status, sleeping or moving or device on, as we can see here, the battery level. So if you've got a battery powered tracker, it will display a percentage. If your tracker has become disconnected from battery, like the vehicle's battery, and is running off of its own internal battery, it will also display a percentage. If the tracker is connected to a vehicle's battery, then it will display a voltage. The next column is speed. So for any trackers that have come to a standstill, it should be 0. But for any vehicles moving, you'll see a live speed as well. And these wired trackers like the 920 that I've showed you here will update every 30 seconds, but battery trackers might update less frequently than that. You've got your last valid GPS fix and comms time again here on the page, and the next column across is how many credits that you have for each tracker. So, and I'll come on to commands later on, but every time this system sends a text to you or you send a text to your tracker, it costs a credit, and you have 30 credits per tracker per month. But I'm going to come back onto this again later on. And then last column on this page is the latitude and longitude again, which you can use on Google Maps or any other map provider as well. So the next button, so that's show and DMC. When to get off of it, you just click it again and it hides it. The next button is show traffic. Now, all this will do for you on the map is display the current status of traffic on main and busy roads. So it's quite self-explanatory. If the road is green, the traffic conditions are pretty clear. As it gets to amber to red, then that's just indicating that the traffic in particular areas is busy. So this works up and down the country, but yeah, you don't always have to have it on display, but you can see that it's pretty clear. So if I click it again, that will turn that feature off. Street view, if I look at, I'm looking at my tracker here now, and if I click on street view, this will bring up the street view provided by Google Maps. Now, if your car's in a car park or off-road or in a yard, street view will display the closest point that it can to wherever your vehicle's stationed at the time. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come away from street view now. The next button is routing. So this is for you to calculate a route from one tracker to another. So if I was to calculate a route from my own vehicle to, let's just pick another one, for example, that I know is a bit far away. I'll try this one. So there's the route from my tracker to another tracker in the account, yeah? And it gives you the instructions for how to get there. So it'll give you all the routing instructions available on the right-hand side. It'll give you a total distance from where I am to there, and the total time that it should take to do that journey. So, and this will just calculate the fastest route or the quickest route to get to that point. It's not necessarily going to calculate the route based on traffic conditions or any interruptions in the such as roadworks or anything like that. It's just literally going to calculate what is the quickest route to get from A to B. So that's what routing is for. If I click it again, that will turn that feature off. And then moving on to the next button here. So we've got an alert log, and I'm going to come back onto this as well. But this alert log will contain every alert that is triggered within the system. But I'm going to jump over this for now because I'm going to come back to it in a second. And I'm also going to just skip over the notifications that are waiting to be read and displayed on the screen as well, because I'll be coming back to that. The next button is settings. So when I click the settings button, as you can see, I've still got my tracker selected here on the left-hand side. And when I click settings, it will display me the settings for this tracker that I have selected on the left. You can see straight away at the top of the screen, it's displaying the IMEI number of the tracker in question. You can put contact details for different alerts. So you might want to stick your email address in any one of these three boxes. You can have as many email addresses in one box as you like. So let's say, for example, and I'm just going to use this same email address as an example, but let's say I put an email address in each box, but I want a fourth email address added. What I can do is I can put a semicolon here and then add another email address afterwards. So now you can see I've got two email addresses separated by a semicolon in here. So you can add as many as you like. The next box along is what alerts does this email address or these email addresses need to be getting. So in this case, just for demo, I'm going to select fence alerts, motion, and power. The next box along is the name of the tracker. So you can see I've just put my name in here for ease, but you could name it Reg, or you could name it a make and model. If you've got plant machinery, you can give it a model number. However you want to organize it, it's up to you. The next section isn't usually adjusted that very often. If you're based in the UK, it will have the UK time zone already set on here, but if you're taking your tracker abroad and you want the time zone to be updated, then you can come in here and change the time zone. This daylight savings tick box, you don't really need to worry about this, because when the tracker, when we come to the dates where the daylight savings time comes into effect, the tracker will automatically adjust the time anyway. So you shouldn't really need to come in here and tick this and untick it. This voltage here is to basically say at what point, if the tracker was disconnected from power or the voltage started to get low, at what point do we want the tracker to send an alert, or the system to send an alert, I should say. So in this example here, we can see that my car's battery now is 12.75 volts, but if the voltage starts to dip and goes below 11 volts or 11,000 millivolts, then this will trigger an alert as well. Which I should mention, the ways to get alerts, or the best ways to get alerts from the system, is you can have your email addresses in here like I've showed you, or if you download the app onto your phone, then you can have push notifications. And push notifications means that you don't use up an SMS credit when the system tries, if the system was trying to text you an alert, then that would cost a credit. And if you use too many credits, then you'd run out by the end of the month. So yeah, using push notifications through the app on the which you can get from the App Store is the best way to receive these alerts, because you'll get it instantaneously and it's unlimited. You can also set a max speed alert on the tracker as well. So particularly for like private hire companies or taxis, that want to monitor the driver's speed, or if you're a fleet manager and you want to monitor speed, you might set this to 60 or 70 miles an hour, let's say. And if the tracker achieves a speed that goes beyond that speed that you've set in here, then you'll get a notification as well. You can change the icons that are displayed. As you can see throughout this video so far, you can see that this tracker that I've got here has been using a black car icon, and this is the default icon that's usually set to trackers when they're added into the account. But if you want to try and differentiate them, you could use them as a color. You could group some trackers by color if you wanted to, or if you've got a mixture of cars, vans, and machinery, then you can come in here and select all different sorts of icons depending on what you have in the account. Once you've set this up, these contact details, and selected the alerts that you want to use, you can hit the Update All button, which will apply all of these contact details and alert settings to more than one tracker. So this just means that you don't have to click into this window for every single tracker in your account and apply it all manually over and over again. You can just apply that. Once you've done it once, you can just apply this in bulk to the rest of your trackers in the account. Okay, so that's all the settings here for this tracker, and I'm just going to close this now and move on. So the next section is history, right? So when you want to view the history of where your tracker's been, if I click history now, we can see the route that has been taken on this tracker today. Each one of these orange dots that you're seeing on the map now is a checkpoint from the tracker. And for this tracker in question, being a 920, this is updating, as I say, every 30 seconds. So every 30 seconds, it's pinging a new location. So you can see here, if I click on one of these orange dots, it gives me the date, the time, the address, and the speed that it's traveling at on this checkpoint. Now, if you see a little bit further down, what we've essentially got, compared to the map view, which is a line on a map with checkpoints, further down, it's opened up the same data, but just in list view. So it's exactly the same journey that we're seeing up here, down here, it's just in a list view. So you can see the tracker has checked in at 4 in the morning, so that's its first 4-hour interval. The next one is the 8:30 interval, and the tracker now starts to move at this point. So 8:33:55. Tracker starts to move, and it's indicated by this green line here, which is the start of the journey. And now you can see the speed starts to pick up, and if we keep clicking down, you can see the map is now moving along with us as we go through the journey. So, and it will register whenever the vehicle comes to a stop for a certain period of time. You'll see that it will register a stop in the history, and that is highlighted by this line here in red or pink. And you can see here on this list view that it's giving us not just, we've got the address again, but we've also got the speed, the voltage, the total amount of miles completed today, and also a GPS signal accuracy. So the way to think about this is either you've got signal or you haven't. So if it's 0%, then you might not have got a GPS location, and you won't get GPS location if your vehicle is in an underground car park, or is it could be in a warehouse, anything under a roof. It might be why you're getting accuracy of 0. But if you're getting accuracy of 100%, then great, you should be getting location, and it should be tracking pretty well, as we see here. Now this window that we're looking at, where we've got a list view of our history, If we want to download this and share it with somebody else, then you can download either an Excel file or a PDF document. And I'm just going to click on that now just to show you. And this will display exactly the same list that we've just looked at on screen, but in a PDF format. So you'll still have the green and the pink lines for journey start and journey stop. And you'll also still have the voltage and GPS accuracy information all on here. But this is just an easy way of getting it out of the system and sharing it with another company or whoever you need to share this tracking information with. And the Excel file is exactly the same as the PDF document that we've just seen there. But obviously with Excel, you can add your own notes and manipulate the report as you see fit. Okay, so that's history. It's also worth me just mentioning as well, actually, while I'm here, is that if you've got more than one tracker in your account, I've been looking at the history for just one tracker here. So therefore, we've got one route displayed on the screen. But if I click the multiple tab, and I could select a few trackers, for example, and view more than one tracker's history at a time. Just bear in mind when you're looking at history, if you are trying to look at history for several months at a time. I mean, today I've been looking at 1 day's worth of tracking, and the system performs nice and quick because I'm not demanding too much data from the platform. But if I was to try and pull up a whole year's worth of tracking or several months worth of tracking on a vehicle, there's a limit to what the system is able to generate as a report. So if you find that you're trying to run a report and it times out, then you'll just need to shrink your request down a little bit until the report starts to work again. Okay, so that's history. You can do this for any type of tracker, and remember that the history is logged on a tracker, and you can go back as far as a year. A year's worth of history is stored on the server. Okay, the next button across from history now at the top is the commands. Now, if you've got a tracker that's fitted with an immobilizer, you'll probably be using this quite frequently. So you can immobilize and mobilize a tracker from here. When you click this, you're essentially sending the tracker a text message. And like I said earlier, I was going to come back to this, which is that your SMS credits are displayed down here for each tracker. So in this case, I haven't used any this month, so I've got all 30 still here. But if I was to click any one of these, it would send a command to the tracker and update the frequency. We can update the frequency from here. I can reboot a tracker from here, and I can also ask the tracker to give me a location now. And that will cost a credit. So I can't text the tracker twice a day, every day. Otherwise, by the halfway through the month, we would run out of credits. So these commands are not supposed to be used every day or too frequently. If you do find that you've got a particular use for the system where you're running out of credits and your demand is going to be a bit higher in terms of credits, we can allocate you more, and there'll be a charge to do that. Okay, so that's commands. There's usually only a few that are available depending on the type of tracker that you have, but they're all easily found here at the top right-hand side of the screen. The next button is ARM. So when you arm a tracker, you can see the button is now red and it says ARM. But if I click it and it says, "Are you sure?" and I click yes, it will now go green and it says disarm. So what this means is now I expect my vehicle not to move. So even if the vehicle moves just 1 meter or gets towed, it doesn't necessarily need to be started or detect any ignition. It just needs to simply detect some movement. So if that happens now and this vehicle detects any movement, this will send an alert to whoever is set up with a motion alert set here. Once you've got the alert, this will automatically disarm. So this is a once or a one-off, if you like. Once the vehicle has moved, it will send you an alert and then it will disarm it. And it won't alert you again. It's up to you to come back in here and rearm it if it was a false notification, or somebody just got in the car and out. It detected a bit of movement. It might have been a false alert. So you'd have to come back once you've received the alarm or the alert. Then you need to come back in here and rearm it again. Okay, so that's the motion alarm. Now I've gone through all three alarms alerts there, which is fence alerts, motion alerts, and power alerts. So as you can see, this is not just a tracking platform. It can also alert you to suspicious or abnormal behavior as well. Just going back to the bottom here, you can turn sound on for the system, which will usually beep every time the tracker moves. You can turn that on and off down here, and you also have your log out button down here as well. If the tracker was moving, the map would follow the tracker with it. And if you want the map to stop following where the tracker goes, then you can just click unfollow here at the top right hand side. And once you've clicked that, the screen will stop following that tracker, and you'll be free to sort of move around the map. And there are other views here, because obviously we're using Google Maps. So just like Google Maps, we have all the other views available to us here as well. And this gets updated every so often. Okay, I think I've probably come to the end of this now. So that's the asset platform. If you want to use, I'm going to be creating videos for other platforms as well. I'm going to do the same thing for Fleet and Leaflets. So look out for those videos as well, and I'll get those created as soon as possible. Okay, thank you very much.